Okay, a very warm welcome to everyone who's joined us on our Working Options Masterclass today. And we're extremely excited to be inviting ITV along. I'm Claire McMaster, the head of programme for Working Options, and we are a charity that helps young people fulfil their potential by developing employability and life skills and providing invaluable interaction with employers. And the Masterclass series is part of our free Career Pathways programme. So this is today a Masterclass where you will share insights or get key insights from how a sector works, how a sector operates. ITV will raise awareness of the different career opportunities and pathways that are available to you and discuss some of the key skills and qualities that they might be looking for. If it is part of the route that you would like to go down. It's a great opportunity to hear how you can take your next steps into the world of work from the world of education and training, and a great opportunity to hopefully be inspired and motivated by our speakers today. As you can see, the session is recorded and you will be able to get access later on via our Working Options website. But today I'm delighted to be joined with Jason and his team. Please ask any questions along the way via the meeting chat facility, and Jason will make sure that his team answer those for you as much as possible after they've spoken. But there will also be an opportunity for a quick survey at the end as well, and obviously to email and contact us if you have any questions following the session. So very warm welcome to Jason to the Working Option Masterclass, Jason, and I'll hand over to you.
Lovely. Thanks very much indeed, Claire, and a very warm welcome to you all. What a fantastic turnout. We hope you all enjoy the session and find it interesting, valuable and insightful. We've blocked out some time at the end for any questions that you'd like to ask as well if we don't cover everything that you want us to cover on the session. I'll do a whistle-stop tour and an introduction across the team just to let you know who's on the call in just a moment. But essentially, we are ITV's recruitment team. So what that means is it's our responsibility to hire new people for ITV. So whether they are just starting out on their careers or having a change of career. So it could be that we're hiring people at all different levels of experience. And this could be across all different areas of the business. So it's not just production. So we're not just after presenters at ITV. So we're talking about maybe finance. So we need people that are astute with numbers who can help balance our books. HR perhaps. So the people that look after our own ITV family and make sure we're equipped with everything that we need to do our jobs. Marketing. So how we brand and how we send that message out there to make it really enticing that people can digest everything that we're doing. Legal. So we need to make sure that we're saying and doing the right things and not being caught out with saying the wrong things. Technology, so making sure that we're evolving in a digital age, and much, much more. So there's lots of opportunities. And I can tell you that across us as a team, we must look over thousands of CVs. We've probably interviewed hundreds of people over the years. So hopefully you're in really good hands with us today. We've got a lot of the team with us here today, which means that a lot of the recruitment at ITV is probably ground to a halt for the next hour because we're with you, which is fantastic. So what I'll do then, just quickly, I'll do a whistle-stop tour with who we've got on the call with us today. So I'll start off with Annie.
Hello everyone, my name's Annie. I've been working at ITV for probably the last 5 years now, and I'm a recruiter within the central recruitment team, so any roles sort of entry level up to mid senior, and hopefully get a chance to chat to you all a bit more later.
Thanks Annie. Tash?
Hi guys, so I am a recruiter within the team, same as Annie. I've been here for around 4 years, and similar to Annie, look after roles from kind of entry level through to mid-senior and senior management.
Deb?
Hi everyone, I think I'm the newest member of the team because I joined about 4 months ago. So I'm quite new and I've only visited the office a couple of times. And I'm looking after roles across all different kind of teams, mostly mid to senior level.
Lovely, thank you. Priscilla?
Hi everyone, I'm a recruitment coordinator and I started last year, September. And my day-to-day involves arranging interviews, showing the systems up to date, helping with contracting forms and contributing towards social media.
Lovely. And Daisy?
Hi everyone, I'm Daisy. I'm the current resourcing apprentice and I've been here since March 2021.
Brilliant. Amy? Amy might have dropped off, no problem. We'll come back to Amy. Laura?
Hi guys, I'm Laura. I'm a resourcing coordinator as well, and I started about 4 months ago. So I have a similar role as Priscilla, but I work within technology and data. And I also do a couple of things to do with entry-level careers and the tech grad scheme.
Lovely, thank you. And Amy, I don't know if...
Hi, yeah, I was on
there you are.
sorry. Hi, I'm Amy. I'm a resourcing coordinator. I haven't been here long either, only about 2 months. So I'm a newbie to the team. But my role essentially is also scheduling interviews, closing down roles, essentially sort of alleviating like the pressure off the recruiters. So
Lovely, that's great, fantastic. Thanks, team. And what we're going to do now is talk about all things apprenticeships, entry-level roles, those entry-level schemes that we do here at ITV. So to tell you a little bit more about that, Annie and Daisy, over to you.
Hello. Yeah, so myself and Daisy have both come through the apprenticeship route, and Daisy's obviously completing our ITV apprenticeship now, so just going to ask her a couple of questions if that's all right. So the first question, Daisy, is what were you doing previous to this apprenticeship?
So before the apprenticeship, I was at sixth form studying BTEC Business and LIBEF, which is a financial qualification. I also worked in a department store, so I had no experience working in an office. And then COVID hit, so I was for a year deciding what I wanted to do. I always knew I wanted to do an apprenticeship and not go to university. So I applied to ITV in September 2020, and then I got the job in March 2021.
Perfect, thank you. And what made you choose to do an apprenticeship over anything else?
So as I said, I always knew I didn't really want to go to university because I've been doing BTEC for A-level, which was a lot of coursework, so I know I didn't really want to go down that route. But I did enjoy the coursework, so I thought apprenticeship would suit me better. I also wanted to work in an office environment as well. So yeah, so doing an apprenticeship mean that you can work in an office environment and also do a qualification on the side.
Perfect. And I suppose especially with everything happening with COVID, sort of how are you finding the apprenticeship so far?
So far it's like amazing, it's so good. But at the first it was obviously hard to adjust to the apprenticeship because you're at home, and like the first week you was on Google Hangout, which was really weird because you met like other 45 apprentices, but they were all in the same position as you, so you felt like quite relaxed. My team really helped me as well settle in. We had like daily, weekly catch-ups, and I met everyone in the team and everyone was really nice. It's nice to know obviously you've got other apprentices that you can talk to, and if you need help you can go to them as well.
Perfect. And kind of how did you find the recruitment process in terms of the application and things like that?
The application was perfectly fine. There was pre-screening questions where you had to answer, and also there was multiple choice questions. When it came to getting an invite for the assessment day, I was really nervous because it was my first assessment day, so I didn't really know what to expect. And I always got told that like assessment days would be face to face, so this was like even more nerve-wracking. But when I went on to the assessment day, it was perfectly fine. I was also given a task which was called the lost task, and you just make sure you prepare by writing notes on the task, which really helped me as well. And then we had another interview, which was a a one-to-one interview with some of the team members, and you had to do a presentation, which included your biggest learning experience and something you're passionate about. But when you're doing the presentation, you've got to make sure that you're honest and yourself when writing the answers, and also confident about what you're speaking about.
Perfect, thank you. And kind of how have you found the support so far during your ITV apprenticeship?
The support has been like amazing. So I have weekly catch-ups with my line manager, which is Annie. We also have WhatsApp groups with the other apprentices, which we just like chat on, and then sometimes we meet up, or when we can meet up in the office, we go or meet up in the office. We also go for team lunches. And then I have a catch up with my tutor, Joe, which is for the qualification. I can go over things that I'm not too sure about.
Perfect. And kind of wrapping up from there, really, what advice would you give to someone applying for these apprenticeships or any entry level roles?
I would just say be yourself when applying. I feel like if you lie, you're just going to get caught out. So just write everything, like be yourself and just be honest. Do your research on the role you're applying for and see if that's what you want to get into. I think if you're attending assessment day, be confident and don't worry about anyone else, because they're all in the same position as you.
Perfect, thank you very much. That's, I suppose, echoing what Daisy said. I think confidence probably is one of the biggest things for us, just showing that you're passionate and you've done your research in terms of your CV and application. I'll hand back over to Jason in case there's any questions or any worries.
Oh, lovely, that's great. Thanks so much, Annie. Thanks, Daisy. And I suppose just to let everyone know that discussions I think are being had at the moment in terms of dates for apprenticeships this year for ITV. So I would encourage you all just to stick close to what we're sending out and sharing on our social media platforms. So you'll have further details to follow soon. We tend to offer various different types of apprenticeships across many different areas of the business. So hopefully there's something for everyone. And also, as Daisy quite rightly said, there is a dedicated qualification, a recognised qualification that runs alongside the apprenticeship scheme as well. And it's just a great alternative to maybe perhaps university or going into full-time employment. So you get paid while you learn, and you're learning from some really interesting, influential people within the business. So it's a great alternative. So please do keep a close eye on what we're going to be sharing throughout the course of this year. Additionally to an apprenticeship scheme, we also run, I think it's twice yearly, a technology graduate scheme in different locations. So again, dates, I believe, I think we're concluding one scheme there, but we'll likely to run another one throughout the course of the year. So again, please keep your eyes peeled. And also more immediately, if there are any budding journalists in the audience, then we're running a news traineeship scheme, which is going to go live on the 21st of February. So that's a chance to be based in one of our regional newsrooms up and down the country for 9 months, when that's paid as well. So you'll learn a broad set of skills of the inner workings of a newsroom. So plenty of options, I think it's fair to say, for this year. Again, just to reiterate, please follow us on social media, and we'll be sharing more news on that front very, very soon. If there's any questions relating to apprenticeships, grad schemes, news traineeships, or any other entry-level scheme, then please get your questions ready towards the end, because we have, of course, blocked out some time. But for now, what I'm going to do is pass you over to Deb, who's going to talk through applying for roles, how to do that, CVs, interviews, and perhaps networking as well. So Deb, pass over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to run through practical tips. Don't worry if it all feels a bit much. There's a lot of information and it might feel a bit overwhelming. I think we're going to get a document out to people, so you can always just refresh yourself if there's something that you need reminding about, because there's quite a lot of information. So the first thing is creating a CV. And this can feel a little bit, I said, overwhelming, but really it's just a one-page document that introduces yourself to potential employers. So we definitely recommend keeping it short. So it really shouldn't be longer than 1 page, you know, because you don't have that much work experience yet. And it should start with a little bit, a couple of lines or a paragraph introducing yourself. So what kind of person you are and what job you're looking for and why. The CV should be nice and clear and well formatted. And it might sound like an obvious thing to say, but just make sure that it's doesn't have any spelling mistakes or grammatical errors. And it's often easier to get somebody else to check it. So, you know, even when I'm working on my CV, I check it myself a few times, and I'll then ask somebody else to do that, so that, because often they can spot errors that you can't. So just make sure that any kind of bullet points are lined up, that it's nice and clear, that it's spell checked, it's grammatically correct, and you've had somebody else read through it. The kinds of things that are on your CV will be a bit about your education, any work experience, part-time jobs, any kind of team sports that you do, and a little bit about yourself. If you go to Google or any other search engine, you can find examples of CVs. So you can just, you know, there'll be lots of templates to help you. So, you know, it should be reasonably straightforward. A cover letter is sent with a CV, and different companies like to receive applications in different ways. So when you're applying for a job, make sure that you just understand what it is they're looking for from you. Some companies will just say, just submit a CV. Others will say, submit a CV and a cover letter. And a cover letter really is, it's tailored to each role. So you wouldn't just have one cover letter. So you might borrow, you know, cut and paste some word in, but you should tailor it to each organization that you're applying to. And it should say a little bit about you, so an introduction, and why you're interested in the role, and also what you can bring to the role. Another way that some companies accept applications is through an application form. So that's really just a standardized way. So rather than asking you to submit a CV, you complete a form. And they can take a bit of time, because you need the patience to be able to read what the form is asking you for, make sure that you understand it, and then make sure that your answers are clear. So it takes a bit of practice. You need a lot of patience. You know, it's good to do a couple to make sure that the final one is the one that you submit. I'm not going to focus too much on applying for jobs, because I think we could do a whole session on that, because there's lots of different ways that people apply to jobs. You know, it could be through somebody who you know, it could be through an online jobs board, like a Total Jobs or an Indeed. It could be, you know, going to the company website. It could be going through your school or college for an apprenticeship program. So there's lots of different ways. But the main point I wanted to make about applying for jobs is that, you know, it can take time. So again, you need patience. And it's quite difficult. It can be quite difficult to not take rejection personally. You know, depending on the job and the company, you could receive, you know, you could be one of many hundred people also applying. And so if you don't hear back or you don't get selected for an interview, move on to the next one without thinking about it too much and without taking it personally. Everybody who, you know, has just been introduced on the call, we've all had experience of rejection of some sort. So, you know, don't dwell on it, move on and apply for the next role until, you know, the right role finds you. So if you do get selected for an interview, a couple of tips for that. So, you know, again, it might sound a bit obvious, but make sure that you prepare. And preparation is more than just looking at the company website, because the company website will tell you some things, but you might also just want to go to a search engine and just see what else you can find out about a company. Also, go on social media, you know, to find out what the company's messages are on social media and make sure that you follow them. That's a really good way to find out what's going on in a company. You would also then make some, do some preparation on understanding what's the format of the interview. So, you know, is it going to be on Zoom or some other kind of video meeting? Is it going to be an in-person meeting? Is it going to be part of a group assessment where there's other people there? And if you're not sure about something, just ask. So just check what's the format, what's expected of me so that I can prepare. You will, most interviews will include some kind of structured questions. So you'll be asked to give examples. So it's quite good to just prepare for that in advance. So examples of questions that typically come up would be, you know, an example of where you've had to use your organizational skills or you've worked in a team, and that doesn't have to be a work example. So don't worry about having lots of examples of things that you've done from, you know, from a part-time job. You can use examples from school, from college, from your life. It doesn't have to be a work-related example, but, you know, write them down and come prepared with a few things that you can share. I know a couple of people have already said, be yourself. I really can't overstate that enough. Be yourself. Everybody is nervous in interviews, you know, but there's really nothing to be nervous about, because you're choosing the company as much as they're choosing you. If you don't understand something in the interview, asking the person who's interviewing to clarify or repeat the question, you're not going to get marked down for that. If anything, people will actually like the fact that you're double checking the information. So just say, sorry, can you repeat that? Or can you rephrase it? I wasn't sure. I'm not sure what you're asking. It's absolutely fine to ask those questions. And the final thing on interviews is, if you're not successful and you didn't get the job, ask for feedback, because you can only improve for the next interview if you've got that feedback. And most companies are prepared to have a call with you. They can tell you what you did really well at and what you need to improve. And sometimes with these things, it's just practice. So, you know, practice makes perfect. And I'm sure that you'll all get there. But it is hard work sometimes. It does take time. It does take patience. But be yourself along the way.
Fantastic. Thanks very much indeed, Deb. Really appreciate that. Hopefully the details there insightful and interesting in terms of next steps and helping you on your journeys. What I'd like to do now is, I think Annie's going to share a screen. I think there's a collage that we're keen to share of details of what we've done at ITV. So Annie, are you okay to share your screen?
Yes, all good. I think the permissions on it, I'll tinker with it whilst I'm having a chat through, but it was just like a little collage sort of based around kind of what events and things we've been doing, obviously pre-COVID. So before obviously we went into lockdown, we did quite a lot of events as a team. We did a lot of job fairs, we did loads of recruitment events. We always bang on about it, so anyone that is in the same calls with us is probably like they're mentioning it again, but I think some of the highlights we had would be going to the Emirates Stadium, which we did like a technology fair there, kind of trying to get school children into the world of technology and that side of things, because it's an area that we're really heavily focusing on. And then even basic things from going into the studios and having a look at the sets. When we're in the South Bank Towers, we used to obviously be connected to the studios, so you might just be walking down to get a coffee and see a lot of the daytime talent, which is always really lovely. And our London offices are moving into White City, so we'll be back into that kind of studio buzz, which will be really, really lovely. I remember when I first started, I went to go and see Loose Women, and Britney Spears was on there, and I remember just being sat on the train home thinking that is the weirdest day at work I've ever had in my life. But it will be nice to get out and about into these events and things, just because it allows us to kind of extend our reach and get to speak to people face to face, rather than feeling like, you know, we're doing things over calls all of the time. I know you guys probably feel the same with a lot of your schoolwork and things being moved to video calls and things, so it'd be really lovely to see more people in the future. But like, very quick backstory to sort of the stats behind how well ITV's done during the pandemic. I know ITV was set up in around, I think it was 1955, and then 60 years later we set up the ITV Hub, which now has 33 million subscribers on there, so really impressive stats. I know we've created, I think it's 45,000 hours of ITV Studios entertainment, which is always a really proud thing to brag about. And in terms of our offices, I know there was a couple of questions in the chat around sort of where we're based and things. We have offices obviously based in the UK, like London, Leeds and Manchester. We've got our regional offices that are kind of like in Guernsey and down towards the coast, and then onto our international offices in kind of Australia and Germany. I know we mentioned that we did have a Hong Kong office, but I think there's only about 3 people in there, so I don't know whether we can count that as an office, but we definitely do have one in Hong Kong as well. So sorry, it won't let me share my screen. I did have some lovely pictures to show, but yeah, it's a really positive place to work, regardless of what department you're working in, and you do get the chance to kind of cross over and experience different things, whether it's shows or volunteering days or workshops. So overall, really positive place to work.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Annie. Really good, really healthy numbers as well, which is nice to hear. So before we move on to Q&A, I can see lots of questions filtering through, which is fantastic. And I've got a couple of questions for our own team, actually, which I'll be interested to hear answers on that. But I think it's important to recognise what we do inside of our organisation and the networks that we have. So Tash, I wondered if you'd be okay to spend a couple of minutes just talking about our networks.
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Jace. So yeah, like Jace said, kind of inclusion across ITV is super important to us. We have 5 networks which kind of support different areas of kind of all of our colleagues across ITV. In terms of the networks, we've got the Women's Network, Balance, Able, Pride and Embrace, and like I said, you can kind of join those networks, as many as you want or kind of as few as you want. It's kind of completely open to yourself, just depending on kind of how much kind of extra time you've got outside of your kind of day-to-day job. And you can get as involved in those networks as you want to as well. So like kind of Deb was sharing and we shared earlier, whilst kind of having stuff in your CV is really great, this is another opportunity to kind of increase the kind of responsibilities and kind of extra things that you can do outside of your day job to add to your CV. So you can kind of meet people. It's a great way to network, especially in a remote environment when we tend to just meet with the people that are within our immediate team. We don't obviously have those kind of coffee catch-ups and stuff like that. So it's a great way to kind of increase your network internally and meet new people. And then take an active role in those networks. So we've recently had a note sent across from the Women's Network looking for somebody to help with their events, which is really exciting. So you can kind of get involved in that and help create kind of events for the Women's Network. So bring your ideas. Each of the networks have different newsletters that go out or kind of updates weekly or monthly, and then really fun events. And they sometimes kind of cross-collaborate across couple of different networks as well. So there's lots of different kind of interesting events or maybe conversations with on-screen talent or other talent across kind of other channels or film. So really interesting part of the company to get involved in. And like I said, you can also add that to your CV. It's ways to kind of increase that kind of engagement with other companies, can see you're really using your initiative and kind of going outside your day-to-day job and getting involved in something you might be really passionate about as well. So yeah, that's a little bit on the networks. We do also have a creative diversity team. who support the business across all the different areas. And some of you may have seen our diversity acceleration plan that we have made kind of public in terms of what we're doing internally to accelerate that change across ITV as well.
Fantastic, that's great. Thanks so much, Tash, for that. I've got a couple of questions for our own team to answer. So, what do you enjoy about working at ITV? And also, what advice would you give to those that are starting out on their careers? So have a quick think. And Annie, I'll pass over to you first, if that's all right.
No worries. I'm trying to think. Sorry, what was the first part of the question? I've already forgotten it.
What do you enjoy? What do you enjoy about working at ITV?
I think probably had a lot of time to reflect upon it during lockdown, because then you kind of remember all the bits and pieces and appreciate all the bits and pieces you had whilst in the office. I think probably one of the best parts about ITV for me is the fact that the company are so sort of trusting of you to manage your own time and kind of work to the way that works best for you. Even down to our offices, a really open plan. Got loads of lovely areas where you can just go and sit for 10 minutes and work by yourself. You know, like sofas and breakout rooms and booths and things that you can sit in. But I think it's more, sounds very cliche, but very much the team as well. You know, I've never been in a meeting where I feel like I couldn't think of an idea that would be shot down, or if you're disagreeing with something, it's a very healthy sort of open discussion that you can have with members of the team. And like if you're ever having a tricky day or a stressful day, sometimes we'll just jump on Hangouts just to have a catch up and some lunch together or something. So yeah, definitely I think the team is probably one of the biggest parts for me.
Fantastic. And any advice that you give to those starting out?
I think probably, it's echoing on what Daisy said earlier, probably just have the confidence to be able to apply for the roles. I always say that before I applied here, I was working at Waitrose. I didn't have any media experience whatsoever. And I think that's probably the key thing to emphasize, that, you know, you don't have to have like 3 years experience working as a as a runner in a company or working for a production house or something. You can just, a lot of our roles can just come in and do a lot of learning on the job, learning sort of about office etiquette and kind of like navigating your way around systems and things. So if there's something that you're passionate enough to get involved in, just your confidence and doing some background research can certainly be enough to get you into a role.
Brilliant, that's lovely. And Tash, same 2 questions?
For me, something that I love, without going with the team again, I would probably say just how cool some of the stuff that we work on is. And I think with kind of, especially working remotely, you get kind of very fixed with, you know, just being at home and kind of not really being in the office and being able to kind of see your colleagues. And I think when you kind of think about, or you see, you know, Love Island or one of our dramas or sport or something like that, and they roll the credits and you recognize those names, I think that's really exciting, and it kind of bring home kind of how cool what it is that we do. Annie mentioned the event that we go to, the Emirates, which is really rewarding, and kind of speaking to people and being able to kind of share advice, I think is something that I find really rewarding as well, aside from the team in the offices, which is really nice environment to work in as well. I would add that one. In terms of advice, I think everyone always says it, but just believing in yourself, and just echoing what Annie said, you know, just go for it. Don't worry if you don't get it. Just keep pushing on, because you'll be kind of providing that advice to somebody else one day, and everyone kind of has that same voice, you know, just you won't know unless you go for it. If you don't get it, then you'll kind of can ask for feedback, like Deb said, and then all you can do is build and grow from it. So I think kind of having that confidence as much as you can. If you're unsure, maybe, you know, asking questions, or, you know, if you're in the opportunity in an interview environment, ask as many questions as you want. Interview panels love that you're, you know, really interested in the team and kind of understanding more. So I think just having that confidence to put yourself out there.
Superb, that's lovely. Thanks, Tash. And Deb?
Oh, you're on mute, Deb.
Still on mute. There we go. Yeah, you got it.
I'm sure that most people would prefer that I stay muted. I was just saying that was great advice there from Annie and Tash. I was actually writing some of it down so I can use it myself. So I don't have much to add to that because I think it was spot on. But so confidence came up. So having the confidence to apply for roles, asking questions, never be afraid to ask questions. Employers like it when you ask questions. If you're not sure about something doesn't make sense, just ask and ask and ask, because it's the only way that you learn. And don't ever be worried that your question is stupid, because there'll be lots of other people who are thinking it as well. And I suppose most people's careers don't follow an exact plan. You know, most people, when they're 12 years old, don't find that the career they end up doing is what they thought they were going to do. So things take a different path. And your, you know, with the right approach and the right attitude, you'll find your path. And maybe you'll switch paths. You might do something that you don't enjoy and you can change and do something else. So, you know, have confidence, make sure that what you do in life ties in some way to your passions, because everybody wants to do a job that they enjoy, and believe that, you know, you can do, you know, you can get there. So have self-belief, which I think the team's already mentioned.
Lovely. And Priscilla?
Oh, I think you expect like a big company like ITV to be corporate and serious and everyone wearing suits and ties, and but it's very laid back, easygoing approach. You know, we work hard, but we like to have a laugh. You know, there's no micromanaging, and like Annie said, you know, we're trusted to get on with our work, which is really good. And the team as well. I know it's been said a few times, but we just have such a good team. We're very interactive with each other. Especially when we're working from home at the moment, it's not easy to go into the office and see faces. So we always make sure that we get involved in meetings and we attend, you know, a lot of check-ins as well. I get one with my line manager Jason weekly, which is really good. And the advice for starting out careers, I think, was the second question. I think it's good to sort of like develop a picture of your interests, or what motivates you, especially when you're attending an interview. You know, you probably won't have that work experience to back you up yet, but you'll have a clear vision of what you can offer. And I think that shows a sense of confidence and, you know, a can-do attitude that employers like to see.
Fantastic. That's really good. Thanks, Priscilla. Days?
I think what everyone else said is really good, and I just want to say the support as well. Like Priscilla said about having like weekly catch-ups with your line manager. The people, everyone's really nice and easy to talk to, and also the office. It makes it feel more real that you're working for like a well-known company. The advice that I give to someone starting out their career, as I've been in the same situation, I would just try and make sure you gain as much work experience as you can, just to see which industry you would like to go into. It don't have to be with like big companies, it can be with other little companies. It just helps you give yourself an understanding. Also sign up to masterclasses like this one, and you'll be able to like gain insight information, but yeah, and also do your research.
Brilliant. Excellent stuff. Thanks, Dace. Amy?
So yeah, I think I'll be echoing a lot of what everyone else has said, but what I enjoy about working at ITV, the people are just so lovely. I haven't been here long, but I feel like I've been welcomed in as part of the team so early on. Like the environment is super like inclusive and comfortable, and I think that definitely helps you to feel sort of driven within your work and enjoy it even more. And also, obviously, I consume so much of like ITV's content, so it's so sort of exciting and rewarding to have that sort of direct impact, whether it be on or off screen, to have that effect on sort of the shows that I love. I think that's super exciting and rewarding. What advice I'd give, I'd say again, sort of be yourself, take risks, sort of be confident, be brave, don't be afraid to sort of step out of your comfort zone. And I think it's also important to sort of gravitate towards things that you enjoy and you have a passion for and you're interested in, and what you're willing to work hard for. I think sort of a combination of those things is super important in sort of having a successful career.
Brilliant. Thanks, Amy. And Laura.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to repeat a little bit what everyone else said. The people are great, obviously. The coffee machine in the office, love that, miss that. One thing else that I really love is how, not the support, but I think the kind of mentor relationships that I've developed with a couple of people in my team. I always feel that if I have a question or I have any kind of concern, people really not only take it seriously, but they will go the extra mile to help you, and they'll check in with you, and they'll kind of talk you through it, or no matter what it is. And I really appreciated how helpful some people have been in situations. And then in turn, I think those kind of people will now be people that I look up to, because I just love how they've dealt with things like that. And I'd like to be doing that in the future. And advice wise, I think this is a piece of advice that I was given a couple of years ago. But no matter what stage you are career-wise, whether you've had no employment or you've got a part-time job or work experience or a placement at uni or whatever it is, just take it seriously, work hard and be proactive, because there's always something you can do to improve your skill set, like sign up to things, volunteer for things, have conversations with people, learn about other people's jobs. Because you never ever know what kind of skills and experience you'll pick up. It helps you narrow down your career options by trying new things. You can kind of learn what you do and don't like. And more than anything, it comes back again to that confidence thing. You pick up so many soft skills and you become so much more confident just by getting out there and trying things and just having those experiences. So yeah, so just be positive and be proactive with whatever you want to do.
Great advice. Thanks, Laura. And thanks, everyone. Really interesting to hear. And I guess just quickly from me, what I love about ITV is probably all the great content that we produce. Being a sports fan, we've got loads of sport that we cover as well, which is great. So I just love being part of that, because you feel like you are part of that as well. And advice. So I think when I was at school, just leaving school, there wasn't a great deal of options in terms of awareness of different things to do. Apprenticeships certainly weren't like they are sort of nowadays. So I think, and try not to put too much pressure on yourself to think that I need to do this, I need to go to university, I need to go straight into full-time work, because we've all as a team had various different pathways, but we've kind of all ended up in the place that we want to be. So no matter what route you take, there's not necessarily a right or wrong. So don't put obviously too much pressure on yourselves at this stage to make those decisions. But like the team have said, just review, assess, and work out, spend some time, work out what kind of path you'd like to take for yourself. So keen to get into the questions now. I can see that there's loads filtering through on the chat function, which is great, and we will try to get to as many of those as possible. There's a couple that have come in before, actually, so I just wanted to quickly cover off those with the team. So just a couple of questions that have come in, keen to get those answered. So first one here is, I've just picked this first of all. Is ITV a fun place to work? Laura, I don't know if you wanted to take this one.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's such a fun place to work. It's definitely the most fun place I've had to work in my life. I'd say it's really a testament to how great the people are, how flexible we are, how informal we are. We do like to just have a laugh and go out, and there's always a joke being thrown around. Other than that, we have, of course, our own social events we try and organise as much as possible. But for me, I just love kind of the meetings and the conversations we get to have one-on-one, or just like the daily catch-up meetings we have. It just always turns into a nice little gossip. And I think, yeah, again, it comes down to the really like kind nature and supportive nature of everyone. Just a genuinely nice vibe. And especially when we're in the office, I think a lot of people genuinely like going into the office because it is so fun, and it's such a great experience to be kind of in a bit more showbiz world. The offices are lovely, yeah, so it's a really, really good place to work. It's really fun.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Laura. Another question here. Is it easy to move around departments within ITV? Tash, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, I think that's a really good question, because it sometimes can kind of support your development in moving across. I think we are really good at kind of moving across into different teams. There's always lots of projects, there's always lots of stuff going on at ITV, and there's lots of transferable skills kind of once you're at ITV and kind of understand systems and understand other teams. I think networking is really important internally to help with that. So I say, yeah, there is kind of opportunity to move across. You know, that might be a fixed term contract, which is a really great opportunity to maybe try something new, or to kind of work across something you maybe haven't got you know, a lot of experience in previously. So I say, yeah, they're kind of, we advertise our roles on our kind of internal intranet, where you can kind of apply and then, you know, have a conversation with a member of the resourcing team if you've got any questions, or indeed the hiring manager as well. So I say, yeah, there's lots of opportunities to move across different teams where possible, and kind of where your kind of skills and kind of experience supports.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. And what type of work experience would you recommend I try and get? Annie and maybe Deb, are you happy to take this one?
Can you just repeat the question, Jace? What kind of work experience would I get?
What type of work experience would you recommend I try and get?
I don't think it matters that much about the type of experience. I think that any experience in the workplace, you know, you're gonna learn transferable skills. And what we mean by that is, you know, you could be working in a local shop and you're managing, you know, you're talking to customers, you're learning organizational skills. So I think, you know, rather than kind of overthink it, I think, you know, any type of work experience is valuable. If you do have a clear plan about what you want to do, then obviously getting related experience is going to be a plus. But I wouldn't worry too much if that, you know, if that's unavailable to you. I would just get any kind of work experience and make it as steady as possible. You know, those people who've had part-time jobs with the same employer or the same individual, you know, who'd be able to write a reference for you. So yeah, work experience is great. Get it where you can.
Brilliant. Good stuff. Okay, so I'm going to move over to the chat. There's plenty of questions, which is fantastic. We'll try and get through as many as we can in sort of just under 10 minutes time. So I'll take the first one. Actually, it's come in. Will there be any ITV jobs in Newcastle, in the Gateshead area? I would love to apply. So yes, actually, we have a newsroom, Tyne Tees, based in Gateshead, as well as our signpost team as well, who do all the British Sign Language for some of our programs. So there are opportunities in that area. I think it's a case of having a look what's on our careers website at itvjobs.com. And also within Gateshead, there'll be an opportunity if you're looking to get into the world of journalism to apply for the news traineeship going live on the 21st of February, which one placement will be based in the Gateshead area. So hopefully that's helped answer your question. Next one, I'm in college. Would I be able to get a degree apprenticeship after college? Happy to take this one again. So absolutely, you are eligible to do an apprenticeship scheme after college. It's a recognised qualification. It's not classed as a degree, although some of the levels, I think we range from a level 3 to a level 6. Towards the level 6 areas, they are equivalent to what you would call a degree level. So it's not a degree per se, it's a recognised qualification, but yes, you can do an apprenticeship after college. Opportunities available for bachelor journalism students. Again, I'll take this one, and again, I think I would direct you towards the scheme that we have yearly, which is award-winning, which is our news traineeship scheme, which again goes live on the 21st of Feb this year. I can't emphasize how brilliant this scheme is, because we have, I'd say 95% of people who go through the schemes go on and achieve some fantastic stuff in journalism, and carve out really brilliant careers at ITV. They're doing some wonderful stuff to date. So have a look on our careers website. Keep your eyes peeled for the go live date. Have a good look through, make sure it's for you, and get an application in. What opportunities are there for filmmakers? I don't know if any of the guys want to take this one. If not, I'm happy to take it.
It sounds like the question might be coming from someone who's interested in getting into filmmaking and they're wondering how they do that. So I don't know the exact route at ITV, but again, I think it comes back to getting experience and getting that CV along with the show reel to show what you can do. And it might be that you've got to approach lots of companies with that. I'm sure that there'll be more information online about the different schemes that different companies run. And I don't know the details of the ITV one, but I don't think that it would be a bit broader. It would be kind of, young people who wanted to get into the industry more broadly. So work on getting your experience and your CV and your show reel together, and then look at those individual companies to see what the application process is. It'll be some kind of training scheme, I imagine.
Brilliant, thank you. Are there any apprenticeships for people interested in film? Well, I would say that we produce a lot of great content, not obviously what you'd call film, but certainly sort of full-length series in terms of drama, factual entertainment, comedy. So we produce a lot of great content there that you've seen on our screens. So that's and a lot of the budgets now are akin to what you'd see on a film set. So I would say have a look at opportunities within our commissioning department. Those are the guys responsible for creating, developing and building out, for example, new gritty true crime dramas or other sort of true crime or factual documentaries or what have you. So I think it's worth having a look in the commissioning side of things, whether that's an entry-level role or that's through an apprenticeship that hopefully we'll run a bit later on this year. What opportunities are there in advertising and marketing? Advertising for marketing students. Anyone like to jump in on that one?
Oh, sorry, I saw Tash come off mute at the same time.
No, go ahead, mate.
Thanks, mate. I was just, in terms of marketing and advertising, I suppose in terms of sort of titles to aim for, any titles that kind of say coordinator or executive, anything like that for the marketing world is a really, really good area to sort of aim for in terms of going for roles that are on the level of experience that you have. And then we do have sort of in the commercial and advertising world, we have roles based in London, they're normally called commercial sales executives. And then if you're based up north, they tend to be called activation assistants. And these roles are sort of targeted at those that have either just left college or just left university. Again, not needing like bucket loads of experience. If you've worked in a shop, if you've worked in a supermarket, anything like that, kind of got experience of some sort of working role at some point. And these roles kind of, the commercial roles especially, kind of work within the sales, advertising, marketing world, looking at sort of the adverts and the ad sales, and you work with a lot of agencies, so lots of communication and things involved there. So just keep an eye on those roles. They do come up quite frequently as well, because a lot of people sort of work internally and get promotions or go on to comments and bits and pieces like that. So yeah, any marketing executive, coordinator roles or commercial sales assistants and activation execs will probably be the best way to get your foot in the door.
Brilliant, lovely. Thanks, Annie. Social media accounts. So I think Annie's put a note in the chat anyway, but we're very present on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, with our handle on Instagram is at ITV Entry Careers, and on the other platforms at ITV Careers, I believe. So so give us a follow, give us a like and a share. Next question is, what apprenticeships are available for TV production? So I think in terms of the production world, we tend to offer various different types of apprenticeships, whether it's content creation, journalism, broadcast content, and we offer that across our daytime programming. So whether those shows during the day, from Good Morning Britain to Lorraine, Loose Women, This Morning, etc., and also some of our other production areas in Manchester who help create some more of the sort of the other lighter touch productions, like the game shows and what have you. So again, echo what we said before, is have a look in terms of apprenticeships, which hopefully we'll have a look at towards the summer when we go live, and they're likely start at the back end of this year as well. So hopefully that answers your question there. Next one is, just finished a screenwriting MA and I'm looking for any entry-level jobs in script departments. Are there any opportunities or traineeships that might be available? And potentially yes. I think it's a case of keeping an eye and setting up for job alerts on our careers website, but we do tend to recruit in different departments for screenwriters, jobs around of that nature. But I think in terms of identifying the department and looking at different roles that are not quite there yet in terms of skill and experience level, and working your way up in those areas. So again, I think just have a look on the career site, pick out maybe a few roles or a few different business areas that you think that you'd like to work in, and work your way up from there. So next one we've got here is, some apprenticeships do not have a start date that links to students' end of schooling dates. When do ITV apprenticeships start from? We haven't got a set date. And then of course last year was put back, I think because of COVID. We try and embed those in line with those sort of natural end dates for schooling, but we are governed a lot by ITV as a business, and when the time is right in terms of departments, working in those departments, but also the training providers. We're sort of governed by when they can help us take on apprenticeships as well. So the qualification that I mentioned before is run by a third-party training provider, and it all depends in terms of their curriculum throughout the year when they're running those schemes as well. But we try as much as we can to make sure that it's within those timeframes of school leaving, college leaving. However, if the timing doesn't work out in one particular year, have a look obviously the year after as well.
I was just going to say as well, Jason, with the ending of time, is don't be scared that if you leave school that you've straight away got to go straight into an apprenticeship or a role, because I think beforehand it was the same situation where I finished college quite early and then felt like I was just sat worrying about what my next steps were. But it just so happened that I ended up staying at Waitrose, I think it was for 3 or 4 months, and then started applying for roles thereon. So don't feel like just because you haven't come out of school and found something straight away that you've missed the mark, because you can certainly wait and do another role until the time's right.
Sorry, just to add on that, sorry, we're adding. Just to add on that one, it's another kind of great opportunity to do any courses or anything like that in that time as well. There's lots of free courses, I believe. Was it Indeed or Reed recently kind of did a promotion on lots of courses where you could kind of do, gain additional skills. So that's a great time to kind of do those sorts of bits as well as putting yourself forward for these sorts of events and finding out, any kind of talks or anything like that any kind of companies are doing, and kind of take that opportunity to network a little bit more as well. Like Annie said, it might not be the plan that you had in mind, but you can kind of make it work, and it might be, you know, you might meet somebody on a networking event that then kind of has a role available. So I wouldn't get too worried. Like Annie said, you know, try and, you know, do different things in that time if you've got a bit of extra time.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tash. And actually just really conscious that we're running over just a little bit, and there's so many questions to get through. So apologies, we're not going to be able to get through everything, but just to quickly touch on apprenticeships again, because I think that's coming up a lot as a common theme. So in terms of applying, again, it's dictated by the rules in terms of what's set out. So there might be requirements regards to sort of GCSE level as well, but they flex and they change throughout the year. So it's worth just reviewing the application. School leavers can apply, absolutely, as long as you're 16 at the age of when the apprenticeship starts, you can begin. If you've been to university and you've got a degree, that means that doesn't make the apprenticeship eligible for you to then go down that route. But definitely, if you've got a degree, be looking at our careers website for those careers, those jobs to start you on your journey as well. There's a lot more information on apprenticeships on our careers website, so I'll encourage you to go there and have a look. Follow us again on social media, because a lot of this that hopefully the questions that come up, we'll be putting out on social media as well. But I just want to say thank you all so much for your time today. Really do appreciate it. Hopefully the session has been really helpful and interesting and insightful. Apologies if we couldn't get to all the questions for you today. But hopefully the session's been more than helpful for you. That's just about it from us here at ITV. And Tasha, hopefully it's all right to share your screen or share the link with the QR code for the feedback form. It's just because before we go, it's really important to gain your feedback. So hopefully you won't mind spending just a couple of minutes to scan the QR code or open up the link. So that is really valuable to us, and hopefully from what you have said there, we can build on it in future events. So so that's it from us. Just to say quick thanks to the team, ITV, for your time, lending your experience and your guidance. Really appreciate that. But I'll say, Sarah and Claire, back over to you.
Thank you so much, Jason. I'm just trying to get my video started, so apologies, you're just seeing my name at the moment. But no, massive thank you for sharing those insights and being so open and honest to everyone. Just reiterating the questions, we'll certainly also do our best to get those questions to you, Jason, to you and your team, and hopefully we'll get a way of getting answers back to people. It's been brilliant, it's been informative, it's been a real eye-opener and an opportunity for our young people who've tuned in to properly see those routes and the progression routes as well, and hopefully give them, you know, that support to properly go back and have a good think about their future. So we have the QR code just come up. There is a few questions just to get your feedback. It's invaluable both for us and for ITV, just to make sure we're providing you with the right information. So please carry on and complete that survey even once the session has finished. So once again, thank you very much indeed. And to everyone who's tuned in and listening, good luck for the future. And maybe we'll see you on those credits that scroll along an ITV show at some point. So thank you very much indeed. And we'll hopefully see you all again on our next masterclass.
Thank you.
Thank you.